Yes, guys, welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. We are live ahead of Gameweek 38, and we're buzzing because this is our end of season celebration. So hello to everyone in the chat. Shout out to you guys. We're here to answer your questions. And hello to my friend and former world number 4, Big Man Backer. Big Man, how are you, mate?
I'm all good, Gianni. I'm actually looking forward to the end of the season. It's been a long time coming. I've been looking forward to the holidays for a long time. Generally, what we see is in the summers there's Euros, there's World Cup. This time there isn't much. So as a content creator, it feels like it's a time to truly have a nice vacation for at least a month before we then switch back on again for our preseason rituals and the usual once again.
Yeah, exactly that. The Club World Cup doesn't quite grasp us in the same way as a World Cup or a Euros. I don't think it will. How are you feeling about Game Week 38? I mean, are there any players that you've got or you're not going to own that you're slightly worried about? Like, Big Man, when we both looked 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, we probably both would have said, shoo-in, Saka will be in my team, Saka will be in your team. As things stand, neither of us own Saka. How do you feel about him?
Well, I'll try and control the controllables because a lot of the uncontrollables. There are a lot of players like Saka. I most probably won't own. I won't own Bowen as well, and these players will be relatively high owned come the deadline. So, I mean, it will be scary, but I can hope that I can focus on the controllables. The players that I buy, they do well. If they do well, it won't hopefully matter as much. My transfer is a bit awkward. I remember you texting me last morning because you realized that one of the transfers I was looking to make was one I might have been potentially priced out of. So I think that's a nice beginning. Let's just jump into my team straight away before we can see yours, Gianni. And I'll explain the dilemma I'm facing. I've had a relatively stress-free week, but because of certain price changes, I am now reconsidering my transfer. So as you can see on screen, my plan was to sell SAR for Semenyo, but SAR is actually now 5.5 million. He's not 5.6 as you see on the screen. So I've been priced out of the transfer as I was willing to make. So now I think my transfer comes down to what we hear on Isak. If we get a leak that he's starting, or even if there is no leak, I think I will start Isak and I will sell Rogers for Semenyo and I'll bench Sar. The thing is, I'm benching Rogers in this setup anyway, so even if I do end up selling him, it's not the end of the world. And alternatively, if we hear a leak that Isak is out, then I think I'll probably just play Rogers and I'll bench Sar and swap Isak out for Welbeck, I think.
Okay, I like that. I don't think we're going to get a leak with Newcastle. Just going off previous, they're not one of the clubs where we get leaks, or we do get them and they're wrong. We've had a few dodgy leaks from Newcastle, so I feel like you're probably not going to find out. And in that case, you're saying you'll chance it and you'll play him, right? Because there's a good chance he's either in the matchday squad and start or doesn't feature at all. So you could just get your auto sub. I personally think he starts. Where are you at there? I'm like 55, 45.
If I was to guess, that's what I would assume. But I think the opposite in the sense that I think we will get a leak. If there's this journalist, Craig Hope from the Daily Mail, I don't know whether you follow him. So he's tweeted like 10 minutes ago, for all those asking about Alex Isak leaks, whether Champions League or FPL motivated, I'll have an update on my WhatsApp channel below before the FPL deadline. So, and he's dropped a link to the channel to join. So maybe we hear something from him because he's generally a credible source.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't realise. Okay, so that's okay. Well, Craig Hope is the guy from Newcastle. There's no doubt about it. He says an update. It could just be like an embargo quote or something rather than actual team leak. But interesting that he knows there's a huge FPL following there.
Exactly.
He's been sold en masse. I'm excited for you to own him. Like, genuinely, if I heard he was starting, I'd be tempted to captain him.
And there's no way I'm captaining him. I mean, I am offside or more. I mean, owning him is enough. And you're right in the sense that he's a bit of a semi-differential. I won't go on his ownership that you see 54%. A lot of these teams are inactive. A lot of people actually sold him. A lot of engaged managers sold him for Watkins last week. So, I mean, this was the week where, people who held on to him, like myself, we were hoping to make up ground. So if he doesn't end up playing, that would be unfortunate. But if he does end up starting against an Everton team without Tarkowski and Brathwaite, I think he could have a bit of fun. And yeah, I mean, fingers crossed for him starting, and then I can just get Semenyo double up on the Bournemouth attack. Hopefully, Bournemouth smash Leicester 5-0, and I end up with a green arrow.
Yeah, okay, love that. Well, you're in good shape, mate. So yeah, it does feel like every content creator I've seen is captaining Mo Salah. So I want to put a poll out there. Are you captaining Mo Salah? Yes or no? Because that then covers the fact if you own him, if you don't own him, it's a no. And obviously, anyone else, we'll do a captaincy poll later. But just a simple to everyone in the chat: are you captaining Mo Salah? Yes or no? I'm really keen to get your take because Salah's ownership is going to be so high. His EO is going to be through the roof by the looks of it. Okay, big man. Let's see my team. I've still got I've got a big decision to make. I'm really unsure what I'm doing. I'm not going to lie. I've got two versions that I could do. I'm pretty sure the player I bring in, I'm going to captain. It's either De Bruyne out for Saka, and then it's a team as we see, or, and I don't know about Kluivert and Cunha. Kluivert and Cunha are my two biggest question marks over do they start. I think they probably both start, but I'm like 60-40 on both those players. So De Bruyne Saka kind of could work, and then I'd captain Saka. Or the slightly spicier version is to sell Elanga for Anthony Gordon. And many will think this is mental. But if I do that, I'd have to bench Cunha or Kluivert and start Gordon, and I would potentially captain Gordon. Or option 3, there's 3 options. Straight swap, Cunha out, Kai Havertz in and captain. So it's Gordon in and captain, Havertz in and captain, or Saka in and captain. Big man, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts regarding your team are still the same as last time. I think De Bruyne to Saka or Cunha and Evan Nelson are transfers I would potentially look at. I actually am curious to hear your thoughts on Gordon and as to what you do if, let's say, Isak is leaked to be out, and if Gordon is playing up front. Does that increase his appeal in your opinion, or does that reduce it?
Yeah, I think if Isak's out, there's every chance the guy that comes in is Callum Wilson or Ursula. I don't think we'll see Gordon number 9. I think we're going to see the same shape from Newcastle that we've seen the last couple of games, and that has been the 3-4-3 with Gordon and Barnes either side of the number 9. I don't think we'll see Gordon number 9, and I don't know if we get a leak, even if we'd get the full 11, therefore we probably wouldn't be able to work it out. So if I see Isak starting or not, in answer to your question, I actually don't think it affects me with Gordon. I think I'm tempted to bring him in regardless. What I probably need, though, is a Saka leak. I think a Saka leak could change it, and then I go Saka in and captain.
Ideally a De Bruyne league as well.
True. I'm assuming De Bruyne starts. Most predictors have De Bruyne to start, but again, that's it's a big question mark still. I don't know how much I get from De Bruyne versus Fulham, but at the same time, I feel like he's a very dangerous sell. So yeah.
I wouldn't classify him as a dangerous sell. I mean, I think he's a fine player to own, but I'm not expecting the Fulham fixture to be very easy and hunky-dory for City. I think that's a potentially tough fixture. For Fulham at home, generally have done well against the top teams this season. So it's one where I'm not exactly seeing a huge ceiling with De Bruyne. Yes, he can get a few points, but the ceiling for someone like Saka if he's starting is just on another level, I think.
Yeah, true. Like De Bruyne is not a captaincy option. Saka clearly is. At the moment, if I want to do nothing, I'd have the armband on Watkins.
Yeah. Now that we've covered our teams, I think let's jump on. I think the main topic to address before we jump to the questions is differentials, because everyone is talking differentials. Let's talk differential captains, because I've received a lot of texts on my socials for people asking about the best differential captain. People are chasing 15, 20, 25 points in their mini leagues, and they're looking for differential captains. I mean, who are your top 3?
Watkins is an amazing captaincy option this week, which no one's talking about. And I think he'll be a differential captain, not a differential, but a differential captain. So I like Watkins. The biggest out there punt, like proper low ownership at 2, Kai Havertz is an awesome captaincy option this week. Kai Havertz is going to start, guys. Like Kai Havertz is starting number 9. He played last time out. He came off the bench for like 14 minutes. You're probably not getting 90 because it was a hamstring issue. Like you're probably going to only get him 70, and that then gives the question mark over: do you want to captain someone that's not going to play 90? I think Kai Havertz is going to score today. I'm confident of a return, and I think he starts as number 9. And then the other choice is I would be backing. I genuinely like Anthony Gordon. I mentioned him for my team, but Gordon or Barnes. Like I think Newcastle will score 3 or 4 today. So I like the narrative with Gordon against his old club. Gordon with something to play for. Gordon with a bit of a point to prove. Like he missed Newcastle's peak part of the season, the EFL Cup win, loads of great Premier League wins. He was out injured, watching from the touchlines. He's going to want to end on a high. So yeah, I like those 3 very much. Who would your 3 be?
I think I would go for 3 who are unlikely to be owned by rivals. Hence, I think because of Watkins' high ownership, I won't exactly have him as a differential captain because he's going to be highly owned anyway. If you're looking to claw back a 15, 20, 25 point lead, ideally you want to be captaining a player your rival doesn't own so that, if he bangs, then the risk is well and truly worth it. So keeping that in mind, I think Saka is relatively low owned. There's a good chance that Saka isn't owned by a rival. I think Saka's probably going to be top of my list, assuming that he starts. If not, I think Evan Nilsson is going to be second, I think. He's currently I think 5 or 6% owned. I would go with Evan Nilsson my second. And third would be probably a cheeky Danny Welbeck fund. I think maybe someone like Welbeck or even Semenyo. I mean, someone like that. I like both, actually. And I think both of them could be excellent differentials this week.
Yeah, I like that. And the Bournemouth and the Brighton players, could be so fun. You mentioned Saka, and just want to talk about Arsenal in general. Like Arsenal are the darlings of the final day of the season. When the pressure's off, you feel like there's a 5-0 win there. And I even remember do you remember the Champions League group stages? I can't remember who they played. They might have gone to someone like PSV. They scored 6 goals. They played the beat. They just went when the pressure's off. They can be really fun. And Arsenal are not fun when the pressure's on. But I do fancy Arsenal. That's why Saka in and captain feels obvious for me. But we mentioned differential captains making up 15, 20 points. This only works. This world only works if Mo Salah doesn't produce. Now, 52% of those watching are captaining Mo Salah, and I completely understand why.
So am I. I'm expecting Liverpool to win. I'm expecting Liverpool to win 4 or 5-0 as well. So
yeah,
that's the risk. Basically, because people sort of have to assess their risk appetite and the downside risk if it goes wrong. Obviously, let's say if I'm in too many leagues, I'm leading one by 20, 25 points, I'm trailing in the other by 15, 20 points. Do I risk potentially losing both in the hope of winning both? That's the question that you need to weigh up. And, it depends on, every individual's subjective assessment. I don't think there's a clear-cut answer that we can give because I'm not chasing personally. I'm only, playing for rank. I think I'm going to just stick with Salah and I think he can do well.
Yeah, I must admit, all season I've not committed to. I'm absolutely not captaining Mo Salah. It seems silly doing it because at my rank there's no point. But if simply asked, who's going to get the most points today? Salah's right at the top of my list. So I'm backing against someone that I think is going to do really well. But as I say, I do like Saka very much if you own him. And if Saka starts, and we think Saka probably will, there's every chance Saka still gets 90, because Saka does seem to start when he's fit and gets the majority of the football match. So yeah, guess where we're at. Big man, we'll just show very quickly our differential teams and we'll answer this super chat question. Thank you for the super chat, guys, and thank you all for watching. The likes and subscribes are welcome. We're only live for the next 45 minutes, guys. So you can go and watch your other YouTubers in 45 minutes. We're still a couple of hours from the deadline, but stay tuned to watch Chasing Green Arrows. We're also going to give away. No, we're not. Should I do Saliba, Sarr to burn Saka? If that's for free and not a -4, then yeah, there are 2 very good moves. If you can afford Livramento instead of Burn, go there. He's playing wing back.
Hello, Saleh. I think I got your Instagram DM yesterday as well. If it's the same, Saleh, should I do Saliba, Sarr to burn Saka? Yes, I think for free I would do the transfers. I think they're really strong transfers. I'm sort of jealous as to how much you have in the bank with those transfers.
Yeah, nice. Before we see the differentials, what about Haaland captain, says Hem? We haven't
Yeah,
discussed
Haaland
Haaland.
is.
If you own him,
have to-
you don't own Salah. So you've got you need to go against Salah anyway. So should you go Haaland if you own him?
And it's crazy that we haven't really spoken about Haaland because he is, I mean, the definition of a differential this week. I mean, and we aren't even talking about him. He's not even discussed by many content creators. It's mainly because of the fact that, we see Fulham as a potentially tricky fixture. I think Haaland should be good for a goal, but I would be very surprised if he got more than that personally. So he's an okay differential, but not someone I look at as someone with a very high ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
I think there's a chance that if De Bruyne starts as well, he gets a charity penalty as well. So Haaland might not be on pens too.
Yeah, the charity pen would be lovely. That stops me wanting to sell sell De Bruyne to get to Saka. That's why Havertz becomes an option, I guess, for me if I want to go Arsenal captain. I would need a leak saying Cunha's out. Right, let's just show you some differentials, guys. We're going to just flash up these very quickly. If you're looking for inspiration, I'll just pick out 3 names, and Big Man, you pick out 3 names on each of these that you like. So this was yours, Big Man. Give us 3 differentials that you just throw out if anyone wants something tasty.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned Evan Nilsson, but he's sort of like widely bought this week. So is Bowen. I think outside the box, if you're considering someone, a lot of people are in the market for a Saliba replacement. I think you can go Ben White. I'm expecting an Arsenal clean sheet. If not White, maybe someone like Kirkes or Shear are ones I like. In midfield, I think Semenyo is hands down the best player that I like. And I drafted this 11 actually before the Europa League final. So now Welbeck has come into the picture. So I really like Welbeck as well. So these 3 in defense, midfield, attack would be the ones I would target.
Yeah, nice. I'll give you 3 names as well. I'll start mine with a player who's in both our teams, but Anthony Gordon, I just love this week. I think he's so much fun in terms of ownership, what you get from a direct player that's going to be so revved up to score against Everton. And it's such a big game at St James's Park. The home crowd are going to be with them. 2 free drinks for every fan, by the way. Awesome gesture. Welbeck, for sure. Loads of fun. We know what Spurs have been partying. And if you are shopping for a defender this week, Livramento is the one to buy. Like, maybe not the most differential, but he's definitely the one to buy. And Asensio against Man United as well, I fancy. Although Tielemans is potentially back in the squad. I don't know if he'll back in the 11. Okay, let's crack on, shall we? Big Man, we just want to flash up the Rob T stuff. I don't know if we've got the latest graphics from him because he put out some new stuff last night or this morning. Did you see the Brighton odds had changed a little bit? Like Brighton after Spurs party bus had gone up to like 2.5 goals.
Exactly, I saw that. And he in the graphic he mentioned that there are quite a few other teams who are projected to score in advance of 2.5 plus goals as well. Now that includes Bournemouth at 2.7, Liverpool at 2.7, Newcastle at 2.5. Brighton at 2.4, Arsenal at 2.8. So clearly, these 5 teams are the ones where you can potentially target for attack. We've already spoken about Evan Nilsson and Semenyo from Bournemouth. From Liverpool, I mean, because of ex-men's, we're only trusting Salah as such. From Newcastle, you brought up Gordon. From Arsenal, I mean, Saka's been widely discussed. From Brighton, we've discussed Welbeck. So clearly, these are the teams worth targeting according to the odds as well.
Yeah, nice. Okay, guys, we want to answer as many questions as we can. We want to keep it as general as possible, so please do consider that with your question. We also don't want to repeat questions loads. I'm just going to take a few out. Mackham says, is triple captain Salah differential for a 20-point deficit on a mini league? So still got his triple captain, Mackham. I'm going to be watching the games with Mackham later. He's one of my channel members, and we're doing a little watch along, which I'm so excited for. Sunderland fan as well. So congrats, Mackham, for your big win yesterday. Absolutely. So no one's got triple captain left. Barely anyone, Mackham. So triple captain Salah is definitely differential enough for my liking. And when you say that the odds for goals there, Big Man, it's interesting that Liverpool are as high as anyone. Usually they wouldn't be, but because it's a trophy lift, and I guess because Crystal Palace have been in Ibiza all week, right? They're the 2 things that swing it.
Exactly. I mean, if this fixture was being played, let's say in game week 8 or 9, it won't have the same significance. But because it's in game week 38, keeping the context in mind, I just think it's a really good fixture for Liverpool.
What do you make of the 11s in that game? Do you reckon we see Liverpool will be full strength, right? Do you reckon how much rotation will we see at Palace? Like, do you expect Eze and
I think Eze will
Manol.
start. He was rested. Eze
Yep.
will start. I don't see a reason why he won't. Probably Mateta will as well because he didn't play the previous game either. I think Sar might not play. I mean, I'm
Mm.
not sure because there's not much at stake. But then again, I think it will be a relatively close to full strength lineup if I was guessing. But with no motivation as such, I mean, it's not a game where they're going to be very sort of determined to defend deep and all. They'll probably give it a go, which might play into Liverpool's hands.
Yeah. God, it's going to be scary backing against Mo Salah today, but I think that's where I'm at. De Bruyne to Evan Nilsson, worth it? You can't do that move because that's not straight swap. Oh, here we go. Dazza. Which two transfers from this lot? We'll do alternate questions. Would you do -4? I'm just going to throw it out there in general with -4s. I don't love them in 38. Like, depending on who your first sub is, I don't love them. Diaz in from Burmo, Welbeck for Vardy. And look, Vardy's not playing. Maybe you don't have that option on your bench, so this could work. I don't like selling Burmo, not going to lie. I think Burmo versus Wolves could be his last game, by the way, in a Brentford shirt. And I fancy Wolves-Brentford to be quite a goal fest. I think that might be a bit of an end-to-end. But obviously, Welbeck for Vardy is a brilliant swap. Personally, I'd just do Welbeck for Vardy and keep Burmo.
I think I agree. That's what I would do as well. Hello, Jacinta. Morning 13. Players out of my 15 are involved in 5 matches. I'll take a hit to get a player in so that no, as Gianni mentioned, it's very difficult to recover the hits that you're taking at this stage of the season. I mean, it's not something we would recommend. Next question is from Eddie. You can take the Gianni.
Nice. Thank you, Eddie. Oh, this is a hard one. Big man, I might need your take on this too. Would you sell Eze out to get Cliver in? Now, this is interesting. If I was buying a Bournemouth mid, I'd be swerving Cliver. You go Semenyo, right? Like Cliver, unless you get a leak to say he starts, and even if he does, he's going to be hooked early. Cliver minutes are up in the air. I own Cliver, and there is a world in which I reluctantly have to bench him because I just can't guarantee a start.
I agree. I think if you're buying a Bournemouth mid, I'd probably go Semenyo for the minutes. Generally, I prefer Cliver over Semenyo because his underlines are slightly better and because he's on penalties. But the minutes risk or the risk of an early sub is just big enough for me to not consider him, especially when there are other options available.
Good stuff. Guys, when you're thinking of watching, you're enjoying the show, if you're wondering why you can't get your question in, it is set to subscribers only. So do hit the subscribe button, do hit the like button and get your questions in. We're going to go as many as we can. Big man, over to you.
Struggling to decide if I stick to the plan, transfer Palmer for Saka and hope Isak plays better on bench or just be safe and get Isak out for Elvis or evidence. And what do you think, lads? I think if Isak plays, you keep him. You don't sell him. And I think if we don't get a leak, then I think you probably go with the assumption that he will start as well. So, yeah, I mean, unless we hear a concrete or a credible leak suggesting that Isak is out, then I would probably just get Evan Nelson. I think Evan Nelson is a better player to own than Wissa this week. Otherwise, Palmer to Saka could be fine.
Wow, Isak, 811,000 managers have sold him this game week. In terms of the top replacements, Evan Nilsson is the most bought in. Nearly 500,000 managers have bought in Evan Nilsson, all because Big Man's been banging on about him all week. Watkins is at 390k in as well. I'm surprised more aren't going to Welbeck, but yeah, Evan Nilsson over Welbeck is an interesting one. Personally, I prefer Welbeck.
I think the fixture for Evan Nelson, man, that fixture is too good to pass up. I love Welbeck as well, but I think Evan Nelson has the edge.
Even though Welbeck's got the penalties, Welbeck's got the pens that Evan Nelson doesn't have.
Yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't have the fixture, right? He doesn't have the same appeal of the fixture. Leicester is just as obliging as it gets.
And he's not at home either. The home crowd at the Vitality for the last day of the season, it'll be party mode. Playman Noz.
Let me ask you this question. If you were to guess, let's say if I was to ask you which would be the highest scoring games of the weekend and which would be the low scoring ones. So in terms of high scoring, which ones do you see will be right up there?
Well, let's load the fixtures. We got the Rob T graphic, I think, or the fixture graphic, whatever it is, and just go, and have a quick look. Rob, we'll come back and to answer your question real quick. Manoz, Kivior, or Shah? I'll be playing Kivior.
I'd be playing Shar and then Kivior and then Munoz personally.
Yeah, definitely not Munoz. Thanks, Rob. We'll get rid of your question. The high. So, Rob, that's your question done. So we'll get rid of that and we'll go through the high scores. Teams that I think will score the most. I mean, it's aligned with the bookies. I actually think Newcastle. I put Newcastle and Arsenal as my top two.
I would put Liverpool and Bournemouth as my top two.
And that's where we differ. That's why
Exactly.
I'm recommending Gordon at every opportunity, and you're recommending Semenyo at every opportunity. I would say I have Arsenal at 1, Newcastle at 2, Bournemouth at 3.
Arsenal will be quite high up in my list as well, personally. Yeah, I think those three, Arsenal, Bournemouth, and Liverpool, will be the ones where I can see some big scores. In terms of low scoring, I mean, Spurs Brighton is also going to be a fun fixture. I mean, I think it's a fixture where both teams will score plenty of goals. In terms of that, I don't think either of those teams will win convincingly. I think it's going to be a relatively close game with both teams scoring plenty of goals. But in terms of low scoring fixtures, if I was to pick, maybe Ipswich West Ham is one I can think of. Maybe Nottingham Forest Chelsea. Those two are, the ones which kind of stand out as being potentially boring by Gameweek 38 standards, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay. I think there's some chat saying there has been a report that Isak could start, but I'm trying to see the source there. I'm not so sure if I trust the source here. Have you seen anything, big man? It's NUFC, the little man's at the little man.
I'm not sure whether that is trustworthy.
I'm not either.
Yeah. He's also mentioned that Botman is starting, by the way. So I don't
know. Feels a little bit early, especially on Newcastle, who are a team we don't get leaks from quite like that comfortably, that easily, that regularly. Do take Newcastle leaks with a pinch of salt, and depending on who's tweeting it. But yeah. Okay. So yeah,
we've covered these odds. I think let's get back to the questions, if we can, and let's go from there.
Yeah, nice. Good to see Arsenal at 2.8 there, highest. Now, stars bench, or there's some big benching dilemmas. If they all start, well, that's the thing, Napstars. You're not going to know they all start. There's no way you're going to know these three players start. You're not going to get leaks on all three of them. You might get a leak on one. So you've got.
Wissam is definitely going to start. We won't hear on.
Barnes. And so is Barnes. I'd bench Cunha.
Risky one. Next question is from Vishal. Thank you. Question to both. I'm leading by 24 points. Should I play? Should I be okay to start KDB and Marmoush, or should I place any for -4? Mid is Salah, Bomo, KDB, Murphy, Saka. No, I don't think you should be taking a -4. We are of the opinion that it's very unlikely that any hit is likely to pay off at this stage of the season.
Big man, one player we've not spoken about. In terms of pens, no, I don't think it'll be Gordon if Isak's out. If Wilson's on the pitch, it'll be Wilson instead of Isak. And if Isak's out, Wilson will probably be on the pitch. If not, I don't know who takes pens if it's not Wilson or Isak. Does Bruno G step up for a pen? I've no idea, big man.
I think Gordon.
Is it Gordon?
I think I distinctly I won't say distinctly, but I remotely remember owning Gordon last season and he got a pen. I don't remember the exact scenario.
Okay. Big man, I just wanted to ask you about Luis Diaz, who's a player we've not spoken about. Like, if you can get to a Semenyo or Gordon, you might be able to spend a little bit extra and reach Luis Diaz. He's likely to start today. We're all saying Mo Salah captain because Liverpool scores so many goals. Luis Diaz is a proper good differential. I mean, his ownership's probably higher than 10%, but Diaz starting down the middle. I think Diaz, am I right in saying he didn't start the last game?
That's correct. He played only 29 minutes against Brighton.
So he must have played, did he play Chiesa down the middle or Gakpo down the middle? I can't remember. But regardless, Diaz should be starting. There is always transfer talk with Diaz as well, like Barcelona heavily linked last summer and again this. He's 16% owned, but in terms of engaged managers, excuse me, that would be much lower. So no, Luis
Exactly.
Diaz could be fun.
With Liverpool, I think Liverpool are actually one of the teams where we could actually get a credible leak as well, because
Yeah,
Liverpool's teams have been leaked in the past. So, yeah, if he's starting, then I don't mind the differential, but I'd only go there if I got a credible leak, not
I'm
without it.
po- I'm 0.1 away. So my Elanga to Gordon move is exact funds. Diaz is 0.1 more than that, but I could sell Cliver to get to, or De Bruyne to get to Diaz, obviously. So I must admit, Diaz has been on my mind all week. But again, I'm so reacting to leaks today. Do set your teams in by 28, guys. Don't wait to 29. That just it's going to be a very. We've not seen the site crash this year, have we, big man?
I don't remember. No.
Don't think
But we
so.
haven't seen too many last minute leaks either, have we?
True, the leaks will come by like five minutes to spare, don't they? At least.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even earlier, actually.
Okay, here we go. More questions. Thank you, guys. We'd love to get a few more likes if you fancy hitting the button, guys. And if you're new around here, the reasons to subscribe are we're going to do some awesome preseason content, and next season will be bigger and better. So we want your support ahead of that, guys. So as CH says, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Niraj, a triple captain and chasing 20 points. Very few will have triple captain. So Salah.
Uh, 20 points is a bit too much, though, don't you think? I think his rival is likely to have Salah, and Salah, I would expect to get, let's say, 10, 12 points. It's a
Yeah, but then
close
that's
call.
8 points you need from one other player to make it up. Like you need a better week, but it's not. You can't make that just from captaincy.
Yeah, I think if your team, if the rest of your team is strong, I think you can just go with Salah and hope that the other differentials in your team can make up, let's say, that 8 or 10 point difference. Sal is asking which is better, Rogers to Semenyo, Wood to Evans, and I think Rogers to Semenyo probably.
Ooh, I'd
It's
keep
not
Rodgers
right.
versus Man United. I'm
It's
I'm
tough,
I'm a bit
actually.
worried not owning Rodgers versus Man United. I'd go Evan Nilsson. Wood's not going to get much change out the Chelsea backline. I hope. Triple captain
This is
Saka
for
or
you.
Salah? Oh, I mean, it depends how much you're chasing. I've just said go Salah with the armband, but look, if you own Bukayo Saka, he's a proper fun pick. And I bet we finish today if they both play 90 minutes. I bet they finish on similar XGI expected numbers. I can't promise the output will be the same, but Arsenal are going to create a ton of chances today.
Veed is asking on a free hit which one for Welbeck, Watkins, Evans, and Gakpo. I think Gakpo probably. I think Watkins and Evans have a higher ceiling.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks, Naveed. I won't be around for team leagues. Would you swap De Bruyne and Isak? I would, if for free, yes.
I think I would for free as well, but it's
For a hit
risky,
though,
obviously.
the big
Little
question
Miss
it comes
FPL
down. Go on.
is asking, having my coffee in my lucky FPL one with you guys again. Thank you. Bradley or Williams, thoughts on Bradley's minutes? Yeah, I mean, they're tough to guess. What do you think, Johnny? I mean, I'm in no
I
position
think
to
he
comment on
starts.
Bradley because I
He
think he
starts.
starts, but he could be subbed early as well. That's an issue that
It's
I
so
see
weird
with him.
though, isn't it? Do you reckon Trent will come off the bench like to be booed? I'm not sure Trent features today.
I would be surprised if he didn't, man. Come on, surely he does.
Don't know. It's shocking. I'm honestly Liverpool fans are something else. Yeah. Starter Semenyo. Okay. Yeah. Play Isak and bench Rodgers, or Isak to Evan Nilsson, play Rodgers, bench Saar. I'd go Isak to Evan.
This is basically my
You.
team
Yeah.
in an article. This is basically me, and I'm waiting on leaks. So depending on whatever leak we get, you make the transfer accordingly.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I can't believe so many are selling Isak. Like, just so you know, in terms of predictors, there's a good account on Twitter called Jump the Wave, and they've got Isak. They asked fans pretty much to predict, but they're fans that really watch the games closely. They've got Isak. 87% of those fans have Isak down as starting. Like, if I was to punt, don't want to say I'm confident of a start. I think he does start. Selling him for a hit seems like madness.
Christian is asking Cunha to Welbeck on BBs or need to play everyone. Uh, yeah, I mean, if you don't have anything better to do, then this transfer is all right. But I'm struggling to see a world where you won't have anything else to do in your team because this seems like a luxury transfer to me.
Yep. Watkins to Isak or Palmer to Saka. We've not discussed Cole Palmer. Is he in your team, big man?
Yes, yes, and I haven't really mentioned him because I'm not going to swap him irrespective. So I didn't think it
Palmer
would
to
be
Saka
worth
was
it.
always your plan, though.
It was, but I didn't know that Isak would be a doubt. And similarly, when minutes for my mids are in question, I can't really I can't really trust anyone else. And Saka, I think his main appeal was in the fact that he was going to be my captain as well. But now that Salah's fixture is looking equally promising, if not better, I just don't see the same appeal. And I'm not chasing, as I've mentioned, so I don't need to be making that transfer.
Yeah, no, I hear you. There you go. Is Bowen, hi Matt, or Semenyo the better option? Can't afford either. Personally, I prefer Semenyo, but I think the vast majority would prefer Bowen. Big man, I feel like you might be with me on this though.
I think both are good picks. I slightly prefer Semenyo because I see Bournemouth scoring more goals. He's cheaper as well, and he's going to be more for differential. So I think I prefer Semenyo. And yeah, I mean, you can sell Sar. I think there's more of a chance of Eze starting because he's been rested. And Eze is the better player to sort of have as cover anyway.
One thing I can say is Bournemouth will score more goals than West Ham today.
Yeah.
Right? Look at the team as well as the player, guys. When I'm in those 50-50 calls, I know when West Ham score, the share is more towards Bowen than when Bournemouth score, the share towards Semenyo. Fine. But you need your team to function well. What do you think? Isak, Sarr, and Rodgers to Welbeck, Bowen, and Saka. I mean, they're all good. They're all good moves in their own right. You get the money out of Isak, but part of that is selling Isak on a hit, which I think is madness.
Yeah, I won't be making 3 transfers there as well. S always asking, don't have Salah, Bowen, Saka, or Evan should I sell Wood and Eze to get Salah and Evan for -4? It's basically the question is, do you think it's worth getting Salah in for a -4? Well, I think the 2 transfers that you've suggested, Wood and Eze to Salah and Evalenson, makes sense, but that is assuming that Wood and Eze are starting in your 11, and if that's the case, I think that hit should pay off personally.
Can we do a poll, which is, are you taking a hit this game week, yes or no? Because it feels like everyone's taking a hit. We'll do
Yeah,
it
I'm
maybe.
quite surprised. I'm quite surprised, actually, pleasantly surprised.
I
I
guess
think
when
it's
you take
mainly.
in,
I'll explain why. One of the things which I've noticed with a lot of people this week is that a lot of people are actually not playing normally. What they're doing is they're looking at their rivals teams.
yeah,
Some are very close in their mini leagues, and they're basically in a state of slight panic where they're afraid that their rivals might overtake them or they might not be able to catch them. And in a way to differentiate from their squad, they're in taking hits, which is something which doesn't sit right with me because I mean, the way you should be playing FPL over 38 weeks should more or less be the same. And if this was any other week, you wouldn't be playing that way. So why change it right now?
I think it was the season before I started making content, my main mini league rival, who I care about winning, I only played for beating him. Forget overall rank. I didn't even know how to look at overall rank. I took a -12. This was only like 7 years ago. I took a -12 on the final day because it was just a case of going, I'm 20 points above you. You've got 4-5 players that can hurt me. Let me buy those 4 players. So I went and bought the 4 players that could hurt me, and our teams were the same, and we captained the same player, and it was a pure defensive move. I don't mind that if you're managing your mini league. But yeah, other than that, I don't really like hits on the final day. Play Murphy, absolutely. He'll probably play right wing back, but he'll still be high. He'll still be attacking. He's a great player,
Who's
Murphy.
the
He'll
best
probably get
captain?
another sub.
I reckon it's Salah. We've also actually done a piece on differential captains. If you rewind the stream, you can see that.
I hate Bowen as captain. So many are going differential captain Bowen. Me and Big Man have given our differential captains. Neither of us mentioned Jarrod Bowen. I just don't trust West Ham to even win that football match. I can't tell you West Ham beat Ipswich.
West Ham don't generally score that many goals anyway, so he doesn't exactly come across as someone with a very high ceiling. I think he will get 7-8 points, but I would be surprised if he got most. As I feel experts, Mike is asking me to recommend anyone start Eight Nuri or Milinkovic. I think Milinkovic maybe.
40% of you nutters are taking a hit. 40%. Madness.
That is beyond madness. I mean, this is one of the most bizarre polls I've seen on chasing green this season. Like, and I mean, I'm genuinely shocked. I don't have any words. I was expecting it to be close to 15-20%. 40% is just like way too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tweet that. Selma Noz or Ain't Nori for Ben White. Manoz, Ain't Nori. You start Ain't Nori this week. Ain't Nori's like he's due, and look, he probably doesn't keep a clean sheet. Fine, but I think you start him.
Shazad Gill is asking benching Dalama, bench Watkins, Semenyo. Don't bench either of those. I mean, both of them have a good ceiling this week. Don't bench them. Bench someone else.
Cunha to Evan Nielsen and KDB for Saka. Yeah, I mean, it's for a hit, so I don't like it. But in any other world, yes.
Rohan is asking assistant manager punt for 1 week high risk high reward. I think you go for Vitor Pereira. Target the bonus, the table bonus in play. Bulls are at home. While I do think that Brentford have been playing well, it's a tricky fixture. But then again, you have to roll the dice to go for high reward, like you mentioned. And the high risk high reward play is Vitor Pereira.
What do you think, gents? Isak, Sarr, Rogers to
We've answered this.
Bowen and Saka. Yeah, again, it's the hit. It was 2 free transfers. Nice. Chasing me, who to prioritise? Marmish. Yeah, Marmish to Evan Nielsen. Marmish to Welbeck. Like your mini league rivals might own Evan Nielsen. You won't own Welbeck. And if you're chasing, also Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is banging today.
Play Rogers or Cunha? I mean, if Cunha is starting out, play him. But we're unlikely to get a league, so I think I'd probably just play Rogers for safety.
Next question. Vissel or Evan Nielsen? If you want to hold, what's Evan Nielsen's ownership going to be, big man? It won't be as high as Visser's. I know he's had nearly 500,000 managers buy him, but Visser's higher owned, right? Even in the top 10k, you think?
Yeah, Visser's higher owned, but I genuinely feel as if Evan Nielsen has the much better fixture. So even if he's top 5k and he wants to hold rank, I just look at it in isolation. I think Evan Nielsen is just going to outscore Visser. In which case, I would go with Evan Nielsen irrespective. I think he'll get more points, and that's what should matter.
Cunha to Welbeck. Emma, I own Cunha. There's a slim chance I sell him. I think I need to hear that he's not starting to sell him. Because if he does start, and I think he probably will, remember he didn't start versus Palace, and Strand Larsen could be out. I think Cunha could do damage against Brentford. I think Cunha will want to end on a high. I think the fans will be behind him because he signed that contract in January, which protects his value. That means that Wolves are getting 68 million for him or whatever it is. Cunha could hurt you, Emma. I'd be reluctant to sell him unless we hear he doesn't start. And I think that's where I'm at.
Christian is asking, oh my God, have this team won FT, so Cunha to Welbeck or something else in bench boost? Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so on the bench boost, I think the weakest player that you mentioned in these 15 is Munoz. So I think I'd probably sell Munoz instead of Cunha because Cunha could still start and do well. So I think I would sell Munoz. I would probably get in, let's say, Ben White or maybe Livermore or Share, one of those. Yeah, because you have Hoyson, I don't think I'd consider Kirkes. I think that's what I would do personally.
Asensio to Saka. I think Asensio is a great own this week. Yeah, I wouldn't sell Asensio. Super chat for you, big man.
Kumaresh, thank you very much for the super chat. Is it okay to take a hit to switch the menu to Sar? I'm assuming the question is Sar to Semenyo, and I don't have Palmer or Saka, but have evidence in no Arsenal tag where we get leaks about Isak. I don't think selling Sar to Semenyo for a hit is worth it personally. And we will get leaks for Isak hopefully before deadline. There's this journalist Craig Hope from Daily Mail who's tweeted that we might hear a leak in his WhatsApp group. So he shared the link on his Twitter. If you follow his account, Craig Hope from Daily Mail, you can get access potentially before the deadline. This is for you, Gianni.
Looks like no Onana today for Man United. If that affects anyone with Watkins' decisions or Rodgers' decisions. Yeah, I know. Beto to Evan Nilsson for a -4. Maliki, I like move. Not one. If you're gonna, one thing I would say about hits, if you're bringing someone in to captain them because you think that player is the best captain, that the hit is worth it. Whether it's the right choice or not to captain Evan Nilsson, but if you believe that, take the hit. Always own the best captain, and for you, right? If you think the best captain is Evan Nilsson and -4 is the only way you can get there, do it.
Chef Seacon is asking, take a hit to sell both Elanga and Vardy. No, we think it's very unlikely that a hit pays off. Vardy's not going to start, but if you have cover on your bench, I would rather play the cover instead of taking the hit. And Bomo cap, that's the first I've heard actually from Mbomo. And Bomo's not exactly been discussed as widely as a captaincy option this week. It's kind of gone under the radar. I feel as if there are better captaincy options out there. I assume that only people who are considering Mbomo as a captain would be those who are looking to differentiate. And because Mbomo is so widely owned, I don't think it's worth taking the risk on him. If you're taking a risk going away from Salah, you might as well do it on a low-owned player, and that's not going to be Mbomo.
Well said. Well said. I agree with that. 10 points for my mini league rival. I've triple captain. There's more triple captainers than I expected as well. Fair play, guys, for leaving it. It's not a bad week to do it. Would you start to Martinelli or Trossard for free, or Isak and start to Evan Nilsson? No, don't take a hit. Don't take a hit.
Semenyo, triple cap Salah. I think that should be enough to recover 10 points.
Semenyo, or if you do hear, don't go for Martinelli or Trossard unless you hear a leak. Liam, you need a leak because these guys aren't guaranteed to start. It could very easily be a front three of Saka, Havertz, and Nwaneri on the left. Like it could
Even
do it.
Marino would play. Even Marino would play instead.
Yep. Yeah, I think Marino midfield is likely, maybe.
Mark.
Yeah.
Asking play Shada or Rodgers. It's very close. Gianni, can you take this? I mean, I think it's a coin toss personally.
I'd probably play Shada on recent goal scoring form. He is a huge goal threat at the minute.
I think this question is a classic case of what your aims are. For example, if you're defending a lead, if your rival has Rodgers, you just block him off with Rodgers. If you're chasing, I assume your rival won't have Shada, so you play Shada. I think that's how you should be looking at it. Claire is asking, with one free transfer, would you transfer Sar, KDB, or Vardy? I don't have Salah. Is he the obvious choice? I am 6 points from the top 300k for the first time ever. We do think Salah is the obvious choice, but I find it unlikely that bringing him in for like massive hits is going to be worth it. It's tough to recommend a transfer for your team, but I mean, assuming that you have KDB to Saka is doable, Vardy to Evan Nilsson is doable, Sar to Semenyo is doable. I mean, if you can do any of these moves, we've discussed them at length, and we like these moves personally. This is for you, Gianni.
Oh my God, Fantasy Ed has been. Someone has put a leak out with Fantasy Ed as the 11 because Ed put a tick. Ed is not an ITK. That is madness. Yeah. Guys, be really careful with fraudsters today.
I'm avoiding X till 20 minutes before the deadline. I'm hoping that all the nonsensical leaks can be, let's say, filtered out by then, and then from the, let's say, the bigger, popular, authentic accounts, we can get access to the credible leaks. because it's very important to sort of realize which leaks are legit and which are just fraudulent. I'll take the question in the meanwhile. Bench, Wissa, and Bomo, Gibbs White, vote or KDB? I think Gibbs White. Next question, Shazad Gill, start one Bowen or Shada. You have to start Bowen if you want, I think. This is for you, Gianni, for habits. I think you can take this. This is a pretty straightforward question.
I really think Havertz is a fun punt. Like, you're probably not getting 90. The only thing that puts me off Havertz is the fact I'll be bringing in someone that's not getting 90. And whoever I bring in, I'm captaining. So I don't really want to captain someone that I know isn't going to get 90. And the reason I don't think he'll get 90 is I think he had a 14-minute cameo off the bench last week. And he's been out for a while. And I think it's a hamstring. So I expect he'll get 70, 80. But Arteta's been building him up all last week, like saying he should never have been ready. He's been amazing in rehab. He's worked so hard to get back fit. He's going to start.
Rose Dawn is asking, I have a good 11. Should I burn the last free transfer? I mean, I think that's a luxury that not many people can afford. If you can send the 11, we can have a look. We can let you know. But yeah, it's unlikely to be the case. Best triple captain Walid is asking to discuss it at length. Salah for us. Gianni, another question which I think is very popular in the community these days is that a lot of people are asking what lead do you think is recoverable at this stage of the season for a lot of people who are chasing. It's difficult to quantify, but let's say if I was to ask you, what number would you give that? I think anything above 20, 27, 28 and above is a bit of a stretch in my opinion. I think 25 max is where I'd probably limit it.
I would say 25, but on the condition that Mo Salah blanks. And I think that matters because I think any chaser, you probably need any chaser going against Mo Salah. Yes, your guy could go and score a brace, but that doesn't hit if Mo Salah also scores a brace, right? So you need Mo Salah to blank. And if he does, 25 points can be made up like that for your captain and then one or two other choices. If Mo Salah bangs, 15, 20 points, because you can't then make up a captain. So you need the rest of your squad to make it up. So a lot hangs on Mo Salah.
Exactly. I agree. Okay, so next question. Zion is asking, should I sell Watkins? No. Use the funds to get Saka. Is Saka very necessary? We don't think so. I mean, he's a good player to buy, but I'm not doing Palmer to Saka personally. I don't think he's a necessity.
I like this. Yeah, if we're on a free hit, who would be your three forwards?
Okay, so I would go Evan Nelson, Welbeck. If Isak is starting, then Isak. If Isak is not starting, then Wissa maybe. That's
I would go Watkins without a doubt. Isak.
Oh, Watkins as well. I forgot of Watkins. Yeah. Watkins. I still think Evan Nelson, Welbeck, Watkins. That's what I would do. Yeah.
See, I'm
if
not
Isak
sure.
is starting, I think I prefer Isak over Watkins. But if Isak isn't starting, then I think Watkins is straightforward.
I think I'd have both. I'd have Isak and Watkins. Let's say Isak starting. And then my third wouldn't be your number one in Evan Nilsson. It'd be Welbeck.
I mean, you hate Evan Nilsson, Gianni, and I love him as much.
Might be Havertz. Let's be honest. It might be Havertz. Sack off Evan Nilsson and Welbeck. Let's go Kai. Will Chelsea start their first team? Yes. Chelsea care a lot more about today than they do about the conference final, which isn't until Wednesday. Fine. Like, of course, Chelsea will be full strength. Chelsea don't care about Wednesday. They care about today. Champions League football next year. This is a massive football match for Chelsea. And I expect it'll be one goal. There'll be one goal in it. Forest Chelsea will be like a 2-1 or a 1-0. It's going to be a proper tight football match. And I don't expect too many goals.
Rafa is asking Wood, Isak, Wissa, Cunha, Evan, Watkins, Evan Nelson. I mean, it depends on whether Isak is starting. It's difficult to give a blanket reply to that, but I think I would prefer the latter until we hear news on Isak. Yusuf is asking if Isak is not ruled out, is it better to have Kirkez instead of Konsa or Semenyo instead of Rodgers? I think Semenyo instead of Rodgers is a bigger upgrade. Or maybe one of my 3-4-7 and some of my forwards are... No, I think in your case... Rodgers to Semenyo or Wissa to Evan Nelson. I think both of them are fine. I think Wissa to Evan Nelson actually might be the best that you can do. This is for you, Gianni.
Good question coming in from Bill. Hey, Bill. Can't afford Saka. That's fine. Like, don't feel the pressure to have Saka in your team, guys. I'm probably bringing him in and captain him, but I'm not saying like you have to have him. Sata, Diaz, Martinelli, or Semenyo. If you've got the money to go up to Diaz, I guess he's the most expensive of the three. I'd go Diaz.
I would still prefer Semenyo personally. Salah, in my opinion, triple captain.
Yeah, that's triple captain. Bowen is rogue. Do you see City scoring a lot of goals? No, I don't.
Nope.
I think probably 2. Fulham are going to want to end the season on a high at Craven Cottage. It's going to be a tough game. City have to win, though, don't they? Like, we haven't spoken about the need for City to pick up the points.
I think KDB is an okay hold if we get a league that he's starting. If you're chasing and if you can afford Saka, then KDB to Saka could be a good transfer. Kazi is asking Semenyo, Barnes, Minte, Semenyo, in my opinion. Saleh is in with another super chat. Thank you very much. Hey, Bakr, yes, it is me. How about I ditch Saka and do Sar, Eze to Semenyo and Diaz? I have 3.2 mil, or who are the best midfielders for this week? Saleh, I think it's going to be a bit difficult for me to reply to that without having a look at your team. You can send that to me on Instagram. I'll reply to you in a bit. I have 3.2 million, or who are the best midfielders for this week? In my opinion, when you look at the midfielders, Semenyo is nice, Bowen is nice, Saka for obvious reasons is nice, Salah is right up there. I think those 4 are the ones I would prefer. And then I even think Palmer is all right. He's not exactly popular in the community, but let's say if I had to pick a 5th, I would probably pick him. Zuman is asking thoughts on Gakpo as a punt. We've discussed forwards, and we think that there are much better options out there.
I prefer Luis Diaz to Gakpo as well in midfield. You get the extra point. You'll probably play up front, unlike Gakpo. Yeah. Which transfer should I go for? 3 free transfers.
So we're running out of time. This is the last question. Which transfer should I go for? I have 3 transfers. My team, Martinez.
Players you'd want to sell in that 11. Saliba needs to go, so you need to buy a defender.
Saliba to Share or White, in my opinion. Murphy to Semenyo and Marmoush to Welbeck. I think these 3 transfers. This is assuming that Isak is starting, by the way.
If not, you can happily keep Murphy.
No, if not, then instead of the Marmoush move, you can easily do Isak to Welbeck, right? That's what you can do.
I think we just had a super chat from Kumaresh at the death.
If we do, we can take it.
Get your super chats in. Yeah, we have. Kumaresh. Hi, is it okay to hit? Oh, hang on, it's moved too fast. To switch Semenyo to Sar. I don't have Palmer or Saka, but have Evan Nilsson.
For a hit?
No. Oh, yeah, it is take a hit.
No, I don't think we'd take a hit. We've discussed this, by the way. We've taken this super chat.
Don't do it. Don't do it. And look, don't be selling Isak, guys. Like, there is no leak on Isak that's credible yet. And I think there's a very good chance he starts. Okay,
all right, guys. Thank you very much for your support this season. We're now coming to an end. We hope that you have a very good end to the season, end up with a green arrow, end up winning all your mini leagues. Gianni, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on board as well as a fellow content creator. I've thoroughly enjoyed collaborating with you this season. We hope that we'll be back again next season with more content for you guys. Appreciate your support as always. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please like the video, and we wish you all the very best.
Oh, thanks, Big Man. Perfectly summarized. And Salah, thank you for your super chat. Big Man will get back to you on Instagram on that. So send him a screen grab of your team, and we'll give you a full message. Guys, it's been awesome. We will see you. I think we're going to do a little look ahead to next season tomorrow. I don't know if that's confirmed yet, but just hit the notification bell and you'll know when we're next live. Every chance we do a Monday stream. Guys, see you later. Have a good one. Good luck. Bye-bye.